Good. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll start out with presentation of the funding applications, and we'll start with cabin fever auction, and we'll be with Nick Coulter.
Good afternoon. My name is Nick Coulter. My wife and I, Ashley, we put on the cabin fever auction. This will be our 5th year. We have it out at the fairgrounds in Mitchell here. It'll be the 23rd and 24th of February. It'll be coming up here real shortly. We've been back every year, and we like this town. We draw a lot of people to the city. There's 400 or 500 people that come from young to old, and they spend money on motels and food and gas, and they're usually here for 2 to 3 days, depending on when they show up for the auction. What we're looking for is a little help for our expense cost. We have a lot of overhead when we put this auction on. We have a lot of employees. We rent the building out there at the fairgrounds. Do a lot of advertising. We make a sale bill flyer. We do a postcard we mail out to 500 or 600 people. We do a lot of advertising in newspapers, local newspapers. We advertise on some of the internet sites, auction sites and stuff like that. So we really appreciate, every year we've come back and you guys have helped us out. So we really appreciate you guys helping us, but we do in return try to bring more and more people to the city for our auctions. So.
Does anybody have any questions for Nick?
What would you plan on using this specifically for?
Probably to pay for our newspaper advertising. We, like I said, these, obviously we get these made. We make 300 to 400 of them. We make, 500 to 600 postcards, some of our advertising costs, I guess, and stuff like that. Just kind of in general, whatever we can put it towards to help pay for, because the wife and I are a small knit business, and we, any, little bit helps, and stuff like that, so.
One of your big line items is wages.
As far as the, say that one more time. Sorry.
So your wages, you've got 9,000.
Yeah, and we hire like 25 employees, from auctioneers to employees that help us, every, with the 2-day auction event, we pay our employees so much per day, and then, our auctioneers get so much per day also. As a reference, the auctioneers get $250 a day.
And then do you house them? Is that
Yep, and we buy motels for them also,
okay?
and stuff like that, so.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Next, we'll have a phone call to make to South Dakota Middle School All-State Band. I think Aaron will do that.
Hello, this is Holly.
Hey, Holly, it's Aaron here. How's it going?
Hi.
Hi.
Great.
We're here with the Mitchell Sports and Events Authority. If you just want to go ahead and share some background about your organization, maybe highlight some of the features and events for the middle school all-state band. Just explain a little bit about what you would use the grant request for and the impact that it would have for Mitchell.
Sounds great. Thank you for taking the time to hear me out today. My name is Holly Gage, and I'm a band director in Sioux Falls, and I'm on the board of South Dakota Middle School Educators Association, so SBMEA. I'm the co-chair of the Middle School All-State Band and in charge of organizing the event. So the students go through a rigorous audition process and are selected to participate in this event. And it includes 200 middle school students from all over the state. And we're bringing these students together for 2 days in Mitchell at the high school to rehearse with a final concert for family and friends on Saturday. So we anticipate overnight hotel stays for the participating 200 students on Friday night, and then some will stay on Saturday night as well. Most of the students come with their parents, so they make individual hotel accommodations. And some will come with their band director, and those school districts make those hotel reservations as well. Economic impact on local businesses, specifically restaurants, through Friday and then all of Saturday. The meals are all out in the community. And I've spoken with all the restaurants in the area and have warned them that we're coming. In addition, parents oftentimes will purchase like flowers for their students. Like when their families drop the students off for the weekend, they hang out in the city, so they'll check out local tourist attractions or go shopping. We plan to use the funds. If awarded the money, I will make purchases at local businesses in Mitchell to ensure that schools have a positive experience at the event. So we hope to use the money to purchase music, provide a hospitality room for the band directors, and snacks for the kids through the rehearsal break. So Mitchell has hosted us in the past, and we love coming there. The high school band directors are awesome to work with, and the community is supportive. So, yeah, thank you for taking the time and considering us for funding. Did I cover everything? Do you have any questions?
Is it on a rotation, Holly, or because you've been here before, I know. So is Mitchell on a
I'm
rotation,
sorry?
or how do you choose Mitchell?
He's wondering if Mitchell's on a rotation or is it just?
Yeah, actually, Mitchell is on a rotation every other year, but we're doing 2 years in a row here coming up next year because just it's a good location and it's an easy place to work with. So, yeah, it's an every other year thing, and then also Allstate Middle School Allstate Jazz is there every year as well. So we're with the same organization.
Any other questions? All right, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we'll go to Show Choir Classic. Jason Plamp requests of $5,000.
Oh, good afternoon, and thanks for hearing our request. I'm here representing the Mitchell Show Choir, competitive show choir based out of Mitchell High School. We travel around the state, putting on a show in different communities, competing on behalf of our school. The show choir has about 75 participants. Singer-dancers would be the majority of them. Then there's a band pit and some tech kids that help behind the scenes. Part of our fundraising efforts, every year we put together our show expenses are about $120,000 outside of the normal funding. One of our largest income generators is the Show Choir Classic, where we invite other teams to our community to compete. This year we have about 20 teams signed up, committed to come, and that should generate about 1,500 spectators in addition to the students. A lot of those teams are coming from states away. We've got Missouri, Omaha, Chicago are all committed to come right now. So a lot of those folks would spend the night before and then compete all day. Our budget for this particular event is about $30,000, including startup of concessions. Our largest line item expense is judges, and that would include the payment of the judges and transportation costs to get here and housing them overnight. Unrelated note to this, but it is worth noting, this is the 40th year of the show choir, and this year their show theme is home, and they're promoting South Dakota. So the set is based around the Corn Palace. They highlight South Dakota tourist attractions and do some throwback tourism songs, so.
I did. I work at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and I let the state tourism know
Okay,
what was going on in case they had any interest, because one of the songs is the song that they use for their advertising. So just so you guys know,
yeah,
you're aware of it.
it's pretty cool, so, thank you. Any questions, or you're getting kind of the C team here presenting to you today, so,
Tell.
yeah.
You mentioned a couple of groups coming. How many do you think will come from out of town? Any idea?
All of them will be from out of town. We'll have our own perform as exhibition, kind
I
of.
see, okay.
But right now, we have 4 from Omaha, we have Vermillion, Groton, 3 from Aberdeen, 3 from Sioux City, Hot Springs, Mount Vernon High School from Missouri, 2 more from Omaha, 4 from Sioux City, and then 2 from Chicago. And each one of those are gonna be 50 to 70, it's hard telling, so.
The one school from Omaha called me, they want to do a tour and maybe perform on the stage as a warm-up on that Friday before, 135 of them. So I don't know what school it was, I forget, but I said, absolutely, come to, we're open that day and we got a stage and they want to sing, we'll even put it on the big screen, make a big deal out of it, but,
Yeah, cool,
have a
well,
little fun with them, you know?
thanks.
I booked one team from Omaha, and they have 60 rooms. They said they're bringing 4 buses and 2 trucks and 3.
That might have been the group, because it was sizable.
Jason, I had a question on your P&L.
You bet.
Did you guys skip an event or something? Why was the revenue so far? Why was there a big difference in revenue from year to year?
Last year was, the interstates were closed. It was super cold, and there were folks who got here the night before, and they were able to participate, but we were way off because of attendance.
Okay.
Hopefully, if we can get the weather to cooperate, we'll have a good event this year.
Any other questions for Jason? Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll skip over the next one because it's a phone one. We'll just go to the people who are here and then we'll go back to that one. So we'll go to E, Knights of Columbus Special Olympics Banquet with Vince Boddicker for $1,700.
Thanks for letting us be here and considering our request. The event we will be hosting is on March 23rd. It will be at St. John Paul II Auditorium. Right now, it would be the state Special Olympics basketball tournament. This would be the 4th time that we've had the privilege of having it here since 2017. Last time was 2019. Right now, there are 785 athletes signed up to do this. Our meal will be spaghetti and meatballs, garlic bread, milk, water, and then we'll either have dilly bars or ice cream sandwiches from Dairy Queen. When we did this the first time with that many, we figured out we were going to try to make it special for those kids. We seat them, we serve them at their table. If they need more, we bring it there. We will serve that 785 kids in about an hour and a half. You know, there's a pretty good crew and everybody works and it's a great time and where we're at. That will go from 5:30 to 7 on the meal, starting at 6 o'clock on the other end of the school at the multi-purpose room. They will have a DJ set up until 9 o'clock for a dance. We also serve soda and popcorn for that, and we have hall monitors there. As we look at it, you know, how many people, how many families, you know, conservatively, if there's 785 participants, you've got to believe there's not a lot more than one, but if we take it conservatively and say there's 650 families, you're going to be looking at motel rooms for at least a couple of nights for that many people. There are going to be a few local, but not a lot of those from what I picked up in the past. They do get their evening meal provided most times, so most time breakfast and lunch is on their own. So one would guess there's probably somewhere around 1,300 meals that they're going to do, and someone are probably going to purchase meals before they go home on Sunday. Our budget is a little over $4,500, nothing more than food. The school donates us the facilities to use for that, which is great, and we just have to clean up and take care of those things. Income coming from it, nothing more than the fundraisers that we do throughout the year as a Knights of Columbus. Any questions?
How many volunteers do you have to have working that?
We have somewhere around 40 to make it work. Yes.
Any other questions for Vince? Thanks, Vince.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Next, we'll go to Lucky Devils Adult Hockey Tournament. Stacy Murtha, $4,000 request.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for hearing our request as well. Thought it'd be more of just a quick recap, but I see a few newer faces in here this year. But our tournament is in its 13th year. We did skip a year with COVID in there, but basically since the second sheet of ice went up, I told them you build the sheet of ice and I'll fill it. So we've done that with this tournament. The flyer that was on there, I'll point that out just a little bit, but we strive for 6 teams in 3 divisions. A, C, and 35 plus was a new one about 3 years ago. We do not hold that at 6 teams. Already, well, last year we had 21 teams, and I'm at 19, possibly 20 as we speak today. It's hard for me to say no to anybody, and we jam a lot of games into this weekend. These games start about Friday at noon, and they go till Sunday till probably 3, 4, knowing that these guys want to get home. When I say that, we do bring in about 5 states, teams represented from 5 states, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska. They come from everywhere. Last year, a good little footnote, there's a Sioux Falls team that had people flying in. There was 2 people that flew in from Pennsylvania and 2 people that flew in from Florida, and we had Montana and Wyoming. So what happens with adult hockey is you get people that used to play Division I together as a line, or they played pro somewhere. They come back as an alumni kind of thing to this tournament, and that's what I seen kind of the structure doing last year. We got a group out of Fargo that I think the first 3 line played D1 in North Dakota. So it's just kind of neat, and there's a individual that played college and his dad was pro that comes out of Minnesota. So we see this, and I get most of these teams back. Actually, before we drop the mic on the year we're in, most of them are saying they want to come back. So what that means to the community, obviously, is there's over 300 to 400 hockey players and or families that come. 3 or 4 of the teams in this tournament are Mitchell alumni, and I'm really big about getting everybody on the ice, including the Mitchell kids that may have just graduated or wherever. They all kind of come back for this. So other than 3 or 4 teams, everybody else travels from out of town for this tournament, and they all get 1 game a day, so they've all got to start. They start coming Thursday night. Actually, I know that Wisconsin team comes Thursday night, and of course they stay through Sunday. So the impact they had on this community was very powerful. If you guys look through some of those notes, but the biggest thing I can remember is our Saturday social is at Thirsties. So Saturday afternoon, if they didn't have games going on, they were either golfing, but more of them bowled than I thought were going to bowl. They just kind of stayed at that complex. And then Thirsties that night, if you walked into Thirsties, we're that whole front half of that bar is all pretty much hockey. So huge impact there. I know Blarney's is just as full, the hotels, just a really big impactful tournament. All of our proceeds go back to hockey in one way or another, youth hockey primarily. As you can see on any of the sheets here, that our biggest expenses are going to be, the referees are actually the largest, but ice time comes in there at a very close second. That continues to be one of our biggest expenses. I also pay for the ice time to keep promoting throughout the season. We skate on Wednesday nights, trying to keep everybody energized and into this so this can be successful. I know I'm probably overlooking something. However, I don't know if there's any questions at this point. It might trigger me if I had anything else, but just lots of guys in town I know for this, so.
I was in Thirsties that night, it was packed.
It's packed. That's all my family. I go around to all these guys. I know most of them, and yes, it was. The most interesting was 2 years ago when the state women's bowling was in the bowling alley, and we had pretty much guys, so 300 of each in that complex. That was interesting, so. I don't know if there's any other questions, but.
The income that you can make off the tournament, you said that pays ice time during for the practices?
Yeah. So what happens there is, I've learned this stuff over the years, and this was new this year that I did this, and I might have talked to you guys about that was kind of my vision. A lot of guys would be like, well, I'm only going to come out once or twice. They just wouldn't want to commit to signing and paying fees and things like that. So I wanted to make it all inclusive and get them out there. And we do not have a problem getting people on the ice or getting them to fill these teams now. It's been very successful this year. Doug, that did remind me of what I wanted to say. I was up here last year telling you guys that this is a good little hidden gem. Sioux Falls has started a tournament, and Watertown is looking to fill one next month as well. So they see this as a pretty good deal, and I told you guys that scares me a little bit. I'd like to keep this in Mitchell, but if you water down that field a little bit, these adult teams are only going to go to so many events. The Watertown one concerns me a little bit. That's a brand-new facility up there with 2 sheets of ice. I've not even seen it yet. I know that's probably going to take some of our groups, so I'd like to keep our expenses down and in check is what I'm kind of getting at here with our request, so. And then ice time, just so you guys are clear, since we hit that, so that goes back to the city of Mitchell. That's who we pay. Another thing new this year is we did create our own nonprofit. We were affiliated more with the youth hockey, MSHA, until this year, but we did go with Lucky Devils Adult Hockey. I made that nonprofit this year as well, so.
Do the teams get anything? They don't get money or.
They get a lot of fun. We got a trophy. We have it's not a traveling one, but we have a trophy there for each of these divisions that stays at the arena. These guys just want to play hockey. They could care less about anything else. We don't do any monetary give back or nothing. Ice time and adult hockey is rare. You go to some of the bigger cities, they're skating, in Sioux Falls even, they're skating at 10:30 at night. They start their games. We got it very good here because Wednesday night's a church night. We have 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night, which is prime ice time, which also helps me keep our numbers strong and that energy level up there, so. But yeah.
Anything else for Stacy? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Stacy.
Next, Shoot Out the Lake is going to be tabled, and we'll do the U.S. sled hockey. We'll do that at the end. You want to do it? We'll make the call to Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association Comedy Night, $2,000.
I've done this before.
This is Kim.
Hey Kim, it's Aaron Heap with the City of Mitchell, and I have the Mitchell Sports and Events Authority here with me.
Excellent.
Why don't you just go ahead and share a little bit about your organization. Go ahead and highlight some features of your event, the community impact it will provide Mitchell, and what you're going to utilize the grant request towards.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. So I'm Kim. I'm the public relations officer for the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association chapter of the Eastern South Dakota. And our main motto is Vets Helping Vets. So that kind of encompasses mostly what our organization is about, where our money goes to, kind of a variety of things. Like, for example, we just had a veteran in the area pass away, so we will be donating to his funds. We help with groceries for people that have setbacks in their life, maybe an accident or an illness or just life happens. So we help with kind of little things with that. We also support people like with funerals, attending the funerals and flag lines, and several events like that. Our spring comedy show is coming up March 16th. This will be our third year having it at the Highland Event Center. Super excited to continue this tradition. Mitchell has been very welcoming to us with this, and we continue to grow every year. With that said, last year was not quite as good as we wanted to because the weather kind of set a kibosh a little bit, but we still had a great show. We still had a great turnout. I know we had people come from like Rapid City all the way to Luverne, Minnesota for the event. Several local area, like Chamberlain, Kimball area, we have a group that comes from there. This year we're going to team up with Helping with Horsepower, an organization from the Mitchell area, and they'll be revealing their veteran bike build. So this year they will have a group of veterans building a motorcycle together, so to build that camaraderie and kind of grow and heal together as a veteran group. So super excited to be working with that group, and I think that will also bring more people to the organization or to the event because it's a well-known organization from the Mitchell area and surrounding area. So how we can impact the Mitchell area is, we have a monthly meeting, and our monthly meeting is going to be held in Mitchell this month. So not only is it for just the event, but we are also bringing our group to Mitchell, supporting the economy, by shopping and going out to dinner for our meeting. For the event specifically, we're expecting a pretty good crowd, hoping to break our last year's record. I don't have the numbers on me, unfortunately, exactly what our numbers are. I know that hotels are booking up. I'm aware of at least 5 to 10 so far that have already been booked, which of course supports the local economy and the local Mitchell area. So again, hoping to continue to grow that and keep bringing people from outside of Mitchell to our event. Any other questions for me? Did I cover it all?
Any questions? You must have covered it all. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to the approval of the last meeting's minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
A motion by Jocko, second by Tim. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Motion passed. Financial report.
Yes, if everybody would want to, I had a sheet next to the packet there. If you want to refer to that here during the discussion here. The one that was sent out in the email had a couple of errors, numbers in the wrong spots. So we'll refer to this one. Okay, so this would be financials as of February 5th, 2024. I just wanted to let everyone know, so this will be the final bid to financials. Just wanted to provide a little summary and wrap up for 2023 before we transition into the bid for financials. As you can see, for 2023, we had SEA revenue of $106,518.50. A bit misleading number. The last 2 months of 2023, we were reflecting the entire $1.50 rather than the 50 cents for SEA, so that would be why this number is quite substantial compared to previous years. Our final expenses, award checks written for 2023 was $94,965. Just wanted to jump here to our 3 committed items that we will carry over into the bid for each designated year for 25, 26, and 27. And then to wrap up our 23 numbers, I just wanted to jump down here to our bid 2 total collections. So collected here in January for our month of December was $14,488.50. Just a quick comparison to the previous 7-8 years here. This was the highest amount collected other than here in January of 2022 for December of 2019, which collected there was $16,137.50. And then a final number for 2023, our year-to-date was $235,557.50. Our comparison by year here for what we collected in January for December, up 15.4% compared to 2023, up 6.4% from 2022, up 29.4% from 2021, down that 11.4% compared to 2020, up 15.4% to 2019, and up 9.7% compared to 2018. So with this transition into the bid 4 now, which is the $2 per room collection, about About 3 weeks ago, the Bid 4 board met and discussed and determined the budget for SEA revenue. It was approved for $100,000. So that'll be this line item that'll stay consistent for each year, whatever the set budget is, that will be stated here. So far for 2024, we've written $21,750 worth of checks. That would bring our fund balance to $78,250. Again, just to reiterate, these Special Olympics committed items will carry over. It'll be designated for this respective year. So each year, 25, 26, 27, this amount, the check will be written, this amount will be deducted from whatever that SEA budget is for that specific year. So I guess the most significant number right now for the committee is this current available fund balance, which again is $78,250. So looking forward to our March meeting, our collections will be due here February 20th. It'll be collected in February for our January records. Again, this is the $2 per room per night collection. It'll be now moving forward. 12 out of our 15 hotels will submit this $2 collection. The Budget Inn, the Coach Light, and the Siesta, less than 28 rooms, so they were excluded from that, I guess, composition of the Bid 4 district. And we'll continue to keep this chart here as far as the total collections. It'll just now, anything after this bold line is going to be the change from the $1.50 to the $2 collections.
And just keep in mind when you're looking at January, those previous Januaries, well, like you said, were $1.50, so you're starting a new amount. Can you go back up to the top? We did talk about this with the Bid 4 board. So their starting budget was $100,000, but they have the ability, if the Bid 4 board sometime after we get the full board on, because we have 2 more board members to appoint, if they wanted to add funds to that budget, they can. It just takes that board approving it first, and then it would go to council. So this is what they felt comfortable starting with. This is what you're going to see in the supplemental appropriation ordinance that we'll be doing on Monday.
So they have a separate
Tuesday.
account for the extra, once they get over 100,000, they have an extra account for the extra money that,
It all stays in one fund. So the Bid 4 fund, the Bid 4 fund, make sure I say that correctly, is its own special revenue fund. So all the revenue collected in Bid 4 stays in that fund, but the only authority that SEA has to spend is up to $100,000 unless it's a recommendation by the bid board to increase that dollar amount. Does that make sense? But all the money stays in that
Yeah, it
fund.
stays in one
It's not in the general fund, anything like that. So it's separated, kept separate. Yeah. I don't know where they put that, actually.
So this 78,250 is what is unspent of the 100,000?
Correct.
Okay.
And obviously, this year's Olympics check has been written.
That's already taken out of, that's why that number's 21,750, because it was a $12,000 basketball Special Olympics.
And there was, I mean, you could talk to that too, but there was quite a bit of discussion at the Bid 4 board about what that dollar amount needed to be. But ultimately, we have 2 more board members that are being appointed to that board, and we can't do that until the ordinance is in effect, so we can't make the appointment until March. And they wanted those new board members on the board before they talk about anything different than that. So.
The figure was basically relied on as to what we used in the past year, just to start with. But again, if something happens where we need more.
That was my question. That was just a historical number that you said, let's start here, but let's say in next September, hotels have not responded.
The discussion that they had was they would look at it again this summer. That's what I remember us talking about, is looking at where they were this summer, and if they wanted to move forward with an additional budget request, we could do it at that time. So.
But it also doesn't mean that if all of a sudden we get a request for
Right.
brand-new event to come to town that's super good, and we need more money, we can't go back to
Right.
that board.
We can get more, we can get more.
Well, you need
Yep.
We justified the last one.
Is that clear as mud?
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll need a motion on the financial report.
So move.
Was that you, Doug, or Dave? Brian? Okay. Motion by Tim, second by Brian. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against nay, motion passed. Valuation forms.
Yes, we have three here that I'd like to go over here quickly. I know we're kind of on a time constraints here. First one was from Jocko and the South Dakota State Amateur Baseball Association. That event was held the week of August 2nd through the 13th of '23. The event itself, he rated a 4 above expectations. He commented that attendance and numbers were up from the past couple of years. 32 Class B teams, 5 Class A, over 300 hotel rooms, room nights sold. We'll host it this year in 2024. It'll move to Brandon in '25, and then back to Mitchell here in '26. SEA awarded $5,000. This was utilized for hospitality for commissioners, umpires, tournament personnel, the commissioner meals, old timers lunch as well. The profit, which was the other financial sheet that was included next to your guys' packet. Those were the financials for that state amateur baseball tournament. The profit accumulated for that event is a fundraiser for Mitchell Baseball and used for their baseball operations and improvements on Cadwell Park. Jocko, you want to add anything?
Yeah, we have the tournament again this year, and then it goes to Brandon Valley the following year, and then we've got it again in 2026, and I'm meeting with them again in June to see if we can get a 3 or 4 year commitment, which they've done in the past. I think they're waiting before they do that to see how the tournament goes over in Brandon Valley. I think after being in Brandon Valley, I think people want to come back to Mitchell because our Cadwell Park is just set up a lot better for state amateur baseball tournament. And, you know, the thing always is that normally the money we make the state amateur baseball tournament, a big portion of that goes back into Cadwell Park. We kind of use the state amateur as a thing that'll help us provide, you know, better facilities in Cadwell Park. And our attendance was up a little bit this year. You know, the state amateur tournament could be the best organized event in the world or the worst organized. Bottom line comes down to who wins and what the weather's like. And we were pretty fortunate because we had Canova again this year. So, you know, the people want to keep coming back to Mitchell, and we're excited about the fact that, you know, the one complaint we've had over the years has been the roof. Well, hopefully, you know, if you've driven by Cadwell Park, the roof is up, and we're optimistic that it's going to be well appreciated. And I mean, several people have commented to me, commissioners even, if you guys have a roof on the stadium, we'd love to come back here forever. I mean, that's the only complaint we get out of Cadwell Park, because over the years, we've done major improvements like the backstop, the new restrooms, and that's one thing you'll find out in Brandon Valley. They're going to have porta pots, I guarantee you, because I've been to that facility, and they just don't have the bathroom that we can handle. So, you know, the money that the Mitchell Baseball Association and the city have put in over the past 20 years, the improvements out there has definitely paid dividends, because it's, you know, now that we have a roof and we have shade for people, it's a nice facility. So, any questions at all?
Thank you.
Yep.
The next evaluation form we received was from a new event that we awarded funding for this last August 11th and 12th, and that was the Dakota Showdown Horse Trainer Challenge, the finale they had hosted here. The event itself was a 4 above expectations, although she did provide some additional feedback here. The event itself went well. She did run into some challenges as far as the vendors and facility where it was scheduled to be held. kind of some late notice from the Horseman Sports Arena about a month before. They decided to host their shootout at the lake. They were helpful, she stated, in finding a new location, which was out by Trail King. Even arranged for bleachers and parking. However, when the weekend got here, the bleachers were not delivered. The parking was not granted permission, so she did receive some unwelcome and unwanted, I guess, assistance or feeling here in Mitchell with her event. She did comment Trail Easy was gracious and let them use their lot for parking. Difficult experience, definitely affected how the event went. They had 20 horses or participants that they auctioned off to new homes, the horses. 20 to 24 hotel room nights sold for the event. Again, this was, I guess the inaugural was held in 2022 down in Scotland. This was kind of the initial event. And just after looking on their website, they have moved and relocated the event for this year to Yankton Rodeo Grounds. We have been in email contact with her, just stating kind of an apology for the experiences, the unwelcomeness that she received as far as with facility-wise. I know she is, response email she sent back, she is paying attention to the new rodeo facility going up on the north side, and once that's complete, they're going to reevaluate how it went down in Yankton. She feels Mitchell is the best site to host this event as far as location for their ranch per se down in Scotland. So they'll reevaluate, and hopefully here in a year or two, once that rodeo ground is established and able to make another connection to have the event back here. She did submit expenses, ended up making $334.73. I know she was, another one of her comments was with the meal. I think the meal expenses that they experienced when they hosted, they budgeted $6,000, and it looks like the meal cost over $7,000 that they had that Friday night. So she's looking into changing how they do that, the format of that, to minimize that expense as well going forward. Then the last evaluation form was most recently from the Paralympic sled hockey team camp, hosted here January 15th through the 21st. The event with a 5 exceeded expectations. The volunteers, the hotel accommodations, the arena were all great. 26 athletes, participants on the USA sled hockey team. 90 total hotel room nights sold at the Comfort Inn and Suites. SCA awarded $3,500 just to offset the costs for the arena rental and the meals. I did include the link in the agenda of the opinion letter that Dave Tronas wrote as well. Sounded like a very good event for Mitchell and the Mitchell community.
Interacted with the young kids too. My little grandson was out there doing stuff with the sleds and studies in hockey, and so it was well attended.
We did have a survey submitted, again, due to time constraints. You can just view at your own convenience. It was from D&E Vending, submitted on behalf of Carol Stylen. She hosts the Pink Ladies Dart Tournament. Again, due to time constraints, the SCA banners on display, I have a list of the events where our banners, our logo was displayed as well. We did receive a thank you letter from Diane Royalty and the Powderboard Ranch regulators. It's kind of a year-end thank you for our support of their Cowboy Fast Draw. I won't list all this individual upcoming events here, Again, you can review at your convenience. There's a full list always on the Mitchell Chamber events calendar as well. Any of the events that are bolded. So any of the events that are bolded on that list have received awarded SEA funding, and one of the events was the upcoming DW Annual Indoor Futsal Winter Classic. And I guess that brings us to executive session.
Yeah. You got shut off then? Okay.
We don't have to shut it off now. Just make sure you mute the. Okay. Yep.
We're back on. We'll go to the funding process here, and we'll do capping, feeder auction.
Doug Greenway, I'd make a motion to approve $1,500 for cabin fever auction.
Second by Brian, motion by Doug, and second by Brian, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against nay? Motion passed for 1,500. South Dakota Middle School All-State Band.
I'll make a motion for 500.
Second?
Motion by Dave, second by Jocko for 500, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against nay? Motion passed for 500. Show Choir Classic.
I'd make a motion to award $5,000 to the Show Fire Classic.
Second.
Motion by Doug, second by Tim, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against nay? Motion passed for 5,000.
I'll abstain.
Corey abstains. Compact Veterans Motorcycle Association Comedy Night.
Motion for 1,000?
I'll second.
Motion by Brian, second by Dave for 1,000. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against nay? Motion passed for 1,000. Knights of Columbus Special Olympics Banquet.
Motion for $1,700.
Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Brian. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against nay? Motion carries for 1,700. Lucky Devils Adult Hockey Tournament.
I'll make a motion for 3,000.
And second.
Motion by Dave, second by Doug. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against nay? Shootout Lake will be tabled. The U.S. Sled Hockey Camp.
Understand they had a loss of travel. I'd make a motion to support $1,250.
Motion will die for lack of a second. Next meeting is